Hello and welcome to At Home with Lucas. So today we're going to be talking about the Thecosky Dehumidifier, but this is not just any normal dehumidifier. It actually has a HEPA filter in it. Yes, people, a replaceable HEPA filter. So you're going to get an air purifier and a dehumidifier all in one. So if you live in a climate where it's overly humid all the time, you're definitely going to want to take a look at this video. Also, if you're someone who does not believe in using the dryer for 90% of your clothing, this is going to be something you're going to want to look at. Dehumidifiers can actually dry your clothing. I know, it's amazing, and it boosts your time. So instead of waiting hours for your clothes to dry, you only have to wait a short amount of time until the dehumidifier has sucked all the moisture out of those clothing. And with the HEPA filter built in, that is going to create a very nice environment. All right, so in this video, we're going to be doing a hands-on with the box, quick unboxing and first impressions on said dehumidifier. After that, I'm going to be putting this to the At Home with Lucas test to figure out, is this something you should buy or maybe skip altogether? I'm here for you, so you don't have to waste your time buying and returning. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it.
All right, let's take a closer look at this bad boy. So the first thing that comes out is the user manual. You definitely want to read through all this so you know how to get this thing running perfectly. The second thing you find is the proprietary charging cable, which I kind of like. I like the fact that you can remove this completely. It makes the dehumidifier, air purifier a little bit more easy to manage and move around. And if you want to just unplug this from the unit and then take this out for cleaning or whatnot, you don't have to go down to the wall and unplug this or the power strip. So that's really, really cool. I like that you can remove that. All right, it also came with a drain hose. So this is really cool. That means you can plug this in and have it drain into a secondary bucket or into if you put this in the basement, you can have it drain into your sump pump. So that is a really, really cool feature. That means that this thing is prepared to run 24/7. This is the coolest part right here. This is the HEPA filter. So this thing is going to help clear the air as well as remove all the humidity from the air. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top right here. So here's the name of the company. I'm guessing this is called the Thecosky or the Thecosky, but let's go ahead and take a look over here. So you have possibly, these are all capacitive, I'm guessing, touch buttons. There's no physical push in button at all. And I'm guessing there's going to be some LED lights that go on when this thing is plugged in. And over on this side, you have probably something that's going to light up that says it's full of water. And that's basically all you have on the top. And then you have all these vents out here, probably where the fresh dehumidified, air purified air comes out. Take a look at the front here. This is all possibly an intake, I would imagine, or of some sort. And then on the side over here, you have your power cable plug, and then you have at the bottom, it looks like this is the, oh, that's interesting. Kind of like how this has a lid, so you're not going to slosh it and it's not going to spill out all over the place. So there's where the water drips out, and then that will allow you to drain this into a sump pump or into something else that holds more water. Okay, that's weird. The bottom has no grips. All right, let's drop the tray back in. That goes in really easily. This is where the HEPA filter is going to live. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I can run this thing as an air purifier without turning on the dehumidifier, but I'm guessing that this thing is just going to be a dehumidifier and air purifier all at once. I think the air purifier portion of it is kind of like an add-on. They're kind of like, yeah, you're going to suck in air anyways to remove the humidity, so we might as well put a filter in there to help out. First impressions, this thing is a little bit yellow, so it's not a starch white color. My camera is not picking this up incorrectly. This is a yellowy white, and it kind of gives off the impression that you're going to put this in a basement. You're going to put it in an area where you're not really going to display it. It's not going to be seen. It's not going to be something that people are like, oh, look at that nice piece of tech. So first impressions are this thing is made out of kind of cheap plastic, and it feels really solid. And of course, it will all come down to how well it pulls moisture out and purifies the air. All right, so let's go ahead and power this thing on for the first time. And there you go. It has definitely a loud fan to it. You can feel some really good solid airflow out here. Let's go ahead and check the fan speed. Okay, so it has low and then it has high. I like how the high is red and the low is blue. That is really cool. Very straightforward. And then you have a timer here. Oh, that's nice. We'll go through that later. Turn that off. I don't know how to turn that off. Okay. And then here is the NAI. Now I am not going to be using this because I do not believe in the NAI. I believe that this actually can make the air more toxic to breathe. So if you don't know anything about NAI, definitely Google it and find out, because everything I've heard about NAI is very, very bad. It looks like that's going to light up when it's full. There you go. So I'm going to leave it on the low setting first, and then if it doesn't do anything, I'll turn it up to the high setting. Okay, so I got this thing in my laundry room at my new house, and I'm having a problem right now where my dryer is actually not drying my clothes all the way. I have to buy a new plug outlet for right there. Once I do that, this thing will be drying like normal. So this is gonna kick in for this review, and it's gonna help me dry my clothes in my dryer. So that's gonna be the biggest test for this thing. I'm gonna turn it on, leave it on a good setting, and see if it boosts the drying power of the dryer. And then of course, see if it makes this room smell any better. This room has a hot water heater and it has a furnace in it. So it is definitely a room with a few smells, so we'll definitely notice if the air purifier is working, and then of course we'll notice if our clothes are damp after just one dry. Now if they're still damp, this thing's not really working. If they're dry, then this thing is golden. Not necessarily the main use for this, but it's a fun one, so let's do that for sure. Okay, so I just came back to my clothes and they are completely dry after one run. So this thing definitely did boost the drying power. It definitely has a good humidifier, whatever inside of it, or dehumidifier inside of it. So it's definitely doing its job. The room in here has a better smell. I will say that this HEPA filter seems to be working in here. So that's really, really cool. If you want to get a double function device where you're cleaning the air and you're pulling out the moisture from the air, this thing is going to do its job. It's not the prettiest thing out there, but it definitely works. And I think in a laundry room, it's a different way to use the dehumidifier. It just boosts everything in that room, cleans it up a little bit in terms of air quality, and also keeps your clothes, because sometimes we'll leave our clothes in our washer a little bit too long and they'll stay in there, and if you run a dehumidifier, you may fight the stink that will form on your clothes when they sit in water for too long. So this thing is definitely something to have in your laundry room, I think, for sure. And then of course in your basement and in any sort of place where it's a little bit damp, maybe just in your house if you live in a high humidity area, this thing is going to do its job. Okay, so let's go through the display portion of this bad boy right here. Okay, so the display only appears when you hit the timer, and that is it. And then you can go ahead and set your timer for however long you want it. Let's see, I think it goes up to 24. Yeah, so 24 hours. This is not my camera being blurry. This is actually how the display comes out. It is literally like it's behind frosted glass, and it looks like if you stop touching it long enough, it will actually lock into that time. And then I think you have to press this again, and then you can adjust it once more. So these are hours, not minutes. So that's 24 hours. So you can run it for 1 hour, have it shut off, 2 hours, 3 hours. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Definitely an ugly display that is blurry by design for some weird reason. I guess they're saying you're probably going to be looking at it from a distance and you're going to be able to see that it's okay. The way to turn off the timer if you don't want it is you just simply go back to timer, click on timer, go to 0, and then let it run its course, and then it turns off. One thing I really like is the fact that you cannot see that display at all. So if you didn't know the display was there, you would not be able to see it. That is really cool. This is my setup right here. I have my blue snowball. It's pointed straight down at the dehumidifier, and I'm just gonna turn it on to the different speed settings so you can get an understanding of just how loud this thing actually really is. Let's talk about the button pressing. So the button pressing is actually really good. I'm very surprised at how responsive it is. If you miss the touch portion of it a little bit, it will not activate. So it's literally right on the icon. So wherever the icon is where you have to press. You can't hit the speed or the timer or anything below, which is something that you're gonna have to get used to for sure. I found myself hitting the timer like over here a bunch, but once you realize you have to actually hit the exact minus the plus in order to activate it, then it's very responsive. I was actually quite surprised at how responsive it was. See, I missed it once again, so I kind of wish that they made it a little bit bigger, like maybe dropped it down into the text. But nonetheless, if you just kind of thumb it, you're going to be fine, and you're definitely going to be able to activate everything you need. So good responsive touch, maybe just a little bit too small in the touch areas. One thing that I just discovered that's really cool about the fact that you can remove the cable from the side is that if you need to move this from one part of your house to another, or maybe you're going to travel with it and take it into your hotel room, you can actually tuck the cable right inside of here. So if you're someone like me that loves to keep things nice and neat and tidy, that is a huge plus, that you can remove the cable and tuck it away inside the unit so you have it all in one. Okay, so I'm out here in my garage. We just moved into this new house, and there's definitely a lot of different smells, from the trash to the lawnmower and just a bunch of other stuff. The door is not as sealed on the bottom as you would like. It has definitely a little hole to let the water out right there. So this is going to be a good test to purify out the air. So it's going to be more of a air purifier test plus a little bit of dehumidifier, because there's probably a little bit of humidity in this garage. So I'm going to power this thing on high, and I'm going to leave it running for a couple hours. I'm going to come back in here and see if that musty smell goes away. So let's give this a good test. Alright, so this thing's been out here for a couple hours, and I will say that it definitely has a slightly better smell to it. It definitely seems to be a little bit drier as well. Of course, this thing did not pick up any water in the tank, but that's just because it needs a lot of moisture to pull water into that tank. So it's pulling little bits as it goes, and it's definitely using that HEPA filter for sure. So I'm noticing that the garage is definitely smelling a little bit better, and it's definitely something I'll probably just leave on quite often. I may turn it on in the morning and let it run all day. Of course, if you open your garage door a lot, then you're going to get outside smells, and this thing will help deal with stuff like car exhaust and other smells that might happen if you bring your vehicle into your garage. So this may be something that I run as much as possible in my garage from here on out. So I think these dehumidifier air purifier combos can really pack a serious punch and do a lot more than we think as of right now. Okay, so I've been using this thing for long enough that I think I have a full comprehensive review, and I have to say, as a dehumidifier, it definitely does its job. It pulls the moisture out of the air. The fan quality is really nice. The low setting is not too loud, so you're not going to feel like this thing is screaming at you, but by no means is this a quiet unit. So if you're trying to sleep with this thing, you may have to test it out. It might be a little bit too loud for your liking. I didn't find it to be too loud when it was on low. When it's on high, it's definitely loud. The button pressing is phenomenal. The HEPA filter on the side is not the best HEPA filter out there. There's definitely going to be better HEPA filters, and you may be able to upgrade this to a better HEPA filter if you find one that fits this unit. But yeah, so all in all, I'm going to say that this thing is built well. It's not a looker. You're not going to look at this thing and be like, man, that thing is great. So you're going to want to put it in a place in your house that's not very visible, but by no means is it super ugly and something that's going to stand out if it is in your living room or in a place that you absolutely need it. So I'm going to give this thing a solid 4.6 star rating for a dehumidifier. I think it does its job. It's really great. Highly recommend it to everyone out there. Love the fact that you can send this thing into your sump pump. So it's an inexpensive way to keep a smaller basement fairly dry, but by no means is it going to handle a big basement. But yeah, so the HEPA filter on the side really adds a big boost to this whole thing and makes it a little bit better than the norm out there.
All right, there you go. That's the Thecosky Dehumidifier, air purifier. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely click that like button. And if you want to join the At Home Lucas family and you want to be a part of this crew, hit that subscribe button. Every time I get a subscriber, I get a boost to make more and more videos. And it's because of you guys, I surpassed 3K. Yes, people, on my way to 4K, but I need your help. Yes, you right there. Tell your friends, tell your family, this guy's on YouTube. They should go subscribe and watch my channel. But as always, I thank you for watching each and every one of my videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.